Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world.
Yes.
And today,
Yes.
something very important has been revealed to us, my friends.
Okay.
Several things, but one in particular, which I want to talk about today. Now, if you did not play a priest in Legion, and if you have not read the lovely novel written by the lovely Christy Golden, Before the Storm, which details the events at the end of Legion, feeding into the start of the Battle for Azeroth, you may not be aware of a particular character. The older sister of Arthas Menethil, heir to the throne of Lordaeron, Calia Menethil. Now,
so if Sylvanas is actually out of the way, then she would be the rightful heir to Lordaeron. Like, not only would she be the de facto leader of the Scourge, probably, or like the undead, the Forsaken, but she would also be the heir to Lordaeron. Like, there it is, dude. There it is.
8.2.5 has finally introduced the model for Calia Menethil. And many do not understand the severity of what they are seeing.
I like how dramatic he is with the whole thing. It really makes it better.
So, without further ado, allow me to reveal to you, on wowhead.com, Calia Menethil.
There it is.
And as we have known since it was written in the book, Calia Menethil was raised by a Naru with the force and power of a Naru, the combined efforts of Anduin Rin and Alonza's Fowl. Calia Menethil was brought back from the dead, her body undecayed like a normal Forsaken. Calia Menethil is the first of her kind, an undead Lightforged. That is essentially what Calia Menethil is, reforged in the light as Saara, the...
Alright, I think this is dumb. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, to a certain extent, like, resurrecting people as undead Lightforged. Is this too much? I don't know, guys, is it too much? She's an abomination? No, I almost wish if they took this direction, they would take their soul and then create like a vessel for their soul to exist within, because making them undead, it's confusing. I just feel like if they had done it a little bit of a different way, it'd be better. Void dwarves? Yeah, I don't know. Like, no, yes, no, what are you talking about? Like in fucking Full Metal Alchemist. Like in Full Metal Alchemist with the fucking, whatever the fuck the brother's name is. Like that.
Naru that partakes in her resurrection refers to her resurrection as her being brought back as she herself and as the light would have her be. And Anduin did not know what the Naru had meant by those words. He feared Alonza's Fowl did not either.
Okay.
And as he let the power of the Naru flow through him, Anduin Rin, he felt a quick flicker of fear. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an abomination. Something that simply should not be.
True.
And as described in the book, she certainly does have alabaster skin, and not the traditional golden eyes of a Forsaken, no.
No.
But white eyes. How peculiar.
How peculiar.
I know of some other characters in the game who have white eyes. There are several. Nerzul. I believe Cho'Gall in one form.
Oh,
had
this
white
is a
eyes,
good
but
start.
Some that are more important, like Norganon the Dreamweaver, a Titan.
Oh.
But even more important than those, Eonar, the Lifebinder, the one who I believe is behind the crafting of the Naru. Something that is directly responsible for the existence of this... what? Undead? Is that what we should call her? Is this even Calia Menethil anymore? As we're supposed to trust Saara, she was brought back as she herself and as the light would have her be.
That's a good point. So what if she got fucking brainwashed whenever they brought her back to life? In the same way that you have people that get brought back to life and they're under the command of the Lich King or under the command of fucking Sylvanas, they're turned to like obey her will. How the fuck do we know they didn't do the same thing to Calia Menethil, like Jaina's brother? Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know how that story's gonna go. But no, this is a good point. That's the point. Duseful Light meets Nazis incoming. I don't know, man. It's possible Naru are one of the first sentient races. Yeah, because it's very obvious, like we need 2 healers for this raid too, by the way, guys. We need 2 healers. That's the only thing that we need now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 2 healers. They aren't undead. They are free to obey or disobey. Okay, here's why they are undead. Because they're dead. So that's why they're undead. It's because they're dead, but they're still moving around. So they are undead. Because they're dead.
What does that mean? You know, there's a nice little quote that stems from a little bit of pop culture.
Kel'Thuzad only.
But it's actually said by Zalito, desecrated image of Gorhal.
Oh, my
we
favorite.
Presume is speaking to us as the consciousness of Yasharaj. And Zalito says, eyes are the windows to the soul. Shutter them forever. Eyes are the windows to the soul. You know, there are many characters in World of Warcraft who have different dispositions and different motives, whether they are intending to be deceptive or not. But there is one thing about characters that does not lie. Their eyes. Look upon Illidan or any of the demon hunters and you will see fel in their eyes, leading to the truth of their demon soul.
Okay.
Their fel soul. Look upon Sylvanas or Gul'dan, and you will see the rage within them, their fury.
I just want to draw a little aside here. Rathion's eyes are red too. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, it's just, you know, a little bit of a coincidence if you want to go down this road. Rathion's eyes are also red.
Fury, made manifest through the truth in their eyes. And it is no different for Calia Menethil.
Okay.
Not any different for Velen. No different for Elisand. No different for Queen Ashara.
That bitch.
The pride in her eyes, none other could match the light of lights. The Queen of Pride we may as well refer to her as. So vain and prideful.
And hot.
Calia Menethil is going to be a very big problem. And as people have already started to kind of point out, her garb is very cool, very unique. I'm actually pretty impressed with how the model looks.
Yeah, I agree.
But some have even said she looks as though she's made of stone. Well, did you know that Alabaster is stone? Kind of a white, very hard stone.
Maybe she can be a Stormount too.
You know, thinking about it, when I consider characters in the game and NPCs like the Maiden of Vigilance, Maiden of Virtue, Maiden of Vitality, many of the maidens which I would presume resemble to an extent Aenar the Lifebinder, a lot of them look like they're made out of alabaster. Almost as if there's no life to them at all. You know, when you consider the colors that you would associate with certain forces in the Warcraft universe, when you think of life, wouldn't you generally associate the color green with life?
Yes.
Or even gold would be better than white. Why white? That's a good question. Why do Calia Menethil's eyes glow white? And why do Aenar the Lifebinder's eyes glow white? Why?
I think, you know, like a white light and, you know, there's like God and God is creation and life. I mean, I feel like that's like white. That's fine, right? I mean, the idea of like, you know, the battle between like the darkness and the light, you know, and it's just, you know, it kind of makes sense. I think white would make sense.
Is it described in Before the Storm that Calia Menethil, her voice was echoing in Sepulchral? And if you listen to the audio clips of Aenar the Lifebinder, which I will insert in this video, her voice is echoing and sepulchral.
Welcome, mortals, to my sanctuary. For countless ages, my spirit has lingered here, safe from the Dark Titan's grasp. But he has found me at last, and comes to claim my power. I implore you, stand with me. Together, we can drive back this onslaught and deprive Sargeras of victory.
Okay.
Time grows short. The enemy closes in. Approach me and stand ready, my children. The final battle is at hand.
Apparently not. There's an expansion after that.
Begone, intruders! Back to your master!
Okay, we get it.
Feel the
I might just move forward.
Failed, demons. To the abyss with you!
We still need 2 healers
What
for our
I am
raid.
getting at, ladies and gentlemen, is Calia Menethil is gone. And someone
Oh, shit.
else has made her body a vessel. And this body, this vessel, will more than likely be used to influence a very important character. A young and impressionable boy. Anduin Rin.
Oh, shit.
See, Anduin Rin was introduced to Calia Menethil in Before the Storm. Perhaps
Oh, shit.
I should just read to you about the resurrection of Calia Menethil.
What the
You suppose
fuck?
that you may
Okay.
enjoy that? Well, I think you may, so allow me to retrieve that. Allow me to just remove that from this stack of books that I certainly haven't read because I know nothing about the lore and am simply the Alex Jones of World of Warcraft. Let me move the Well of Eternity trilogy.
Okay,
the
dude.
Dawn of the Aspects.
Okay, dude.
Ah, there it is. Before the Storm.
Okay, dude.
Not riddled with notes or anything.
Yeah, we need one more healer
It
to
won't
start.
take me long to locate this particular passage because it is toward the end of the book. I'm not finding it as quickly as I thought that I would.
It's a jump
Allow me
cut.
to read to you from page
Okay.
270
All right.
to page 273 or 4. This is after Calia Menethil's death at the hand of Sylvanas Windrunner, who, I believe out of fear, struck Calia Menethil, again, the older sister of Arthas Menethil, down in the field of Stromgarde.
I just feel like, Sylvanas did that because Calia literally went into her house and was trying to poach her boys. She's like, you don't need to listen to her anymore. You need to come listen to me. That was my understanding. Of course Sylvanas is going to be pissed about that.
The next few days were a blur of regret, pain, and soul-searching for Anduin Rin. Gen, predictably, had been furious, but to Anduin's surprise, he had bitten his tongue when the young king walked through the gates of Stromgarde carrying the body of Calia Menethil.
Not good.
Fowl was heartbroken, receiving the corpse of his beloved friend humbly from Anduin's arms, as stunned as Anduin had been at Calia's turn and riddled with remorse for not anticipating it. I would never have brought her today if I had the slightest idea, he said. I know, Anduin said. Take her home, and I will do the same for my people. I'll come to the temple as soon as I can. It tore at him to see the people who had once been so full of hope look so shocked and devastated as they boarded the ships that had borne them to the Arathi Highlands and its ghosts. Even those who had not parted well from their forsaken counterparts looked shaken. Anduin usually was able to find the right words at the right time, but now he found none. What could he tell them, really? How could he possibly comfort them? There was no easy, obvious road back from this, and so he retired to his cabin, deep in prayer for guidance. It came in the form of a knock on the door, and the appearance of an old friend. I do not wish to disturb, Velen said.
Oh.
Anduin smiled wearily.
Oh.
You never could, he said, and invited the Draenei inside.
Oh.
He offered some refreshment, but Velen declined gracefully. I will not stay long, Velen said. But I felt
I like how he
should
uses
come.
the voices. That really makes it special.
You are king now. Not the youth I guided only but a few short years ago back on the Exodar.
Hey.
I will always be there if you ever wish that wisdom the light sees fit for me to give you. Velen doubtless
Still
thought
need
the
one more
reminder
healer.
of Anduin's time among the Draenei would be comforting, but all Anduin can think of was how much he longed for those days. for that peace. And before he knew what was happening, he had blurted out, "I feel helpless, Velen. I promised my people a reunion with their loved ones. Instead, they watched them be slaughtered. I want to comfort them, but I have no words. I miss my time learning from you. I miss the Exodar. I miss Oros."
Okay.
Velen smiled sadly.
Okay.
"We all do," he said. "But we cannot go back to happier times. We can only live in the present. And right now,
Need one more
that
healer.
present is painful.
On Kalthazad.
But we do have a way to be with the Naru. We are priests, Anduin, but we cannot heal others until we are ready to stand calm within ourselves.
Anduin's a paladin, not a
Go
priest.
to the Netherlight Temple.
He's a paladin,
Share
okay?
your grief with Val, and in doing so, help each other. Speak with Saara. See what it has to say to you. There is time. Then you can
Wears
greet your
plate
people
armor.
on the docks
That makes him
and,
a paladin.
light willing, know what to say to help their wounded hearts. Anduin smiled. "I'll never be as wise as you, old friend." Velen chuckled
Well,
and
no
shook his head
shit.
ruefully.
He's 3,000 years old.
"My only wisdom is to understand that I am not." The Netherlight Temple. When Anduin entered the temple, he saw at once that something was happening.
Okay.
It seemed as though everyone in the temple had clustered around the entrance to Saara's chamber, which was marked by its constant radiance. By the way, just so you guys know, Saara is a Naru that was a void god at one point that got turned back into a Naru.
Wait, what the fuck?
Great. Anduin, frowning,
what the
hastened
fuck?
toward the crowd,
Why would they
making
have
his way
him
through
do
the
it?
priests who stood or knelt, silent, reverent. Up ahead, Anduin could see the radiant lilac form of Saara, and despite his
The
heartache
fuck?
and confusion, he felt the Naru's comforting brush upon his spirit. For the record, I don't really like how the Naru do this. I know it sounds like a great benevolent good thing, but them
Okay.
just soothing your spirit is very dangerous. It makes it too easy to be comfortable and trusting around Naru. We saw what Zira did to Illidan. We should not be trusting of Naru in general. Calia Menethil's body hovered in front of Saara.
I don't
She
know
lay in
about
the
that.
air
I
as
don't
if
know
she were
about that.
sleeping. Her hands folded on her breast. Her blonde hair gleamed almost as brightly as the Naru itself. Falling softly, her golden white robes draping her slender frame.
Still need one more healer.
Fal knelt in front of the crystalline entity, his head bowed in prayer. High Priestess Ashana stepped beside Anduin and said quietly, "Something is happening to Calia.
Okay.
Her flesh has not yet begun to decompose. Fal has been with her since he brought her here." The Draenei turned, looking down at Anduin, and said, "Saara told him to wait for you, my young king." Didn't realize she was Draenei, or I would have done the voice. A shiver ran down Anduin's spine, and he swallowed.
Okay.
He took a deep breath and stepped toward the Archbishop. "I'm here, Your Grace," he said quietly. "What would you have me do?" Fal turned his face to Anduin's. "I'm not quite sure," he said. "But Saara was insistent that you were to be a part of this." And then Saara, who had been silent, spoke in their minds. "Calia would come to me when the dreams of what was past were too painful to endure," Saara said.
Okay.
"I cautioned her to have patience. There were things she had to do before the dreams would cease. Things she must understand. People who would need her help.
Yeah?
And I assured her of this seemingly strange truth. That sometimes the most beautiful and important gifts come wrapped in pain and blood." The truth of those words hit Anduin's heart. Those were the gifts that no one ever wanted, that one would do anything not to have bestowed. But they were also indeed, as Saara said, beautiful and important.
Okay.
There will be no more of those battles for her now. Kalia Menethil will be freed from the pains of the living, from the nightmares that once rent her heart. She understood that those on the battlefield were her people, and she accepted that responsibility by giving her life to try to save them.
Okay.
Not human as they were when she was young, but forsaken as they were in that moment.
This could be important. here.
Light and dark, forsaken priest and human priest.
Here we
Together
go.
you shall bring her back as the light, and she herself would have her be.
Okay.
Anduin's mouth was dry, and he trembled. He looked at Fowl, but the priest only nodded.
Okay.
They moved wordlessly to Kalia's side, standing as she hovered in midair, and each of them took one of her small, pale hands. Bring her back as the light, and she herself would have her be, Sa'ara had said. He didn't know what the Naru had meant by the words, and he suspected that Fowl didn't either. But somehow he knew. Kalia did. Anduin felt the light come to him, warm and calming. It seeped through his body, soothing his spirit and his tumultuous mind. It was a familiar sensation, yet there was something different. He usually experienced the light's power flowing through him like a river, but now it seemed like a whole ocean was utilizing him as a vessel.
What the fuck?
Anduin felt a quick flicker of fear. Would he be able to contain and direct something this powerful? He anticipated that he would feel overwhelmed, stretched to his limit, but the tide of light that swept through him now was one that reinvigorated him, even as it asked him to be fully present, to give all of himself to that task ahead. Yes, he said in his heart, I will. The light limned him in its warm hue, and it chased around the still yet completely intact body of the Queen of Lordaeron.
Okay,
and
here
whirled
we
about
go.
The Forsaken Archbishop.
This is the important part right
Anduin
here.
felt it swell like a wave, then crest and break, emptying him, but not depleting him. The cold hand in his squeezed. Anduin gasped as Kalia opened her eyes. They glowed a soft, gentle white, not the eerie yellow hue of a Forsaken's. A smile curved a face that had no flush of life to it. Slowly her body tilted from horizontal to vertical, and her feet settled onto the stone floor. Calia Menethil was dead, but she lived. She was no mindless undead, but she was not Forsaken either. She had been raised by a human and a Forsaken, both using the power of the light,
Okay.
bathed in the radiance of a Naru.
What the fuck?
Kalia, said Fowl. His
What the
voice
fuck?
trembled. Welcome back, dear girl. I didn't dare hope that you would return to us. Someone
There
once
it is,
told
dude.
me
That's
that
Anduin.
hope is what you have when all other things have failed you, Kalia said to him. Her voice was echoing, sepulchral. But like Fowl's, it was warm and kind. Her white gaze went to Anduin. She smiled gently. Where there is hope, you make room for healing, for all things that are possible, and some that are not. Anduin watched as everyone responded to Kalia's... what? Resurrection? No, she was still dead. Dark gift? That wouldn't be accurate either,
This
because
is
it
a
was the
little bit
light
odd.
that had been present today. There was nothing of darkness in this undead woman. After a short time, though, she turned to Anduin and gave him a rueful smile.
Okay.
Thank you, she said, for helping the Archbishop bring me back. The light didn't need my help, he said. Well, then, for not abandoning me on the field. I couldn't do that, he frowned and asked quietly. Was that your plan all along? To use my work on the Gathering as a chance to reclaim your throne? Sorrow flitted across her pale face. No, not really. Come, sit with me. The resurrection, if that's what you want to call
Okay, that's it.
of Calia Menethil. One of the biggest mistakes Sylvanas has ever made was killing Calia Menethil.
Why is that?
What Kalia says right there is very important, because it directly relates to Aenar the Lifebinder. She says, hope is what you have when all other things have failed you.
What is this, Galadriel?
Where there is hope,
from Lord of the Rings?
you make room for healing.
Okay.
For all things that are possible, and some that are not. That is to say, with hope, you basically have God mode. However, remember upon the seat of the Pantheon, and yes, I will once again refer to the Argus the Unmaker fight because it is incredibly important.
We'll see.
When sea and sky, when earth and fire, when time himself and space, as Norganon, had all tried to save us, even Agrimar in his bulwark that he provided to the tank during the fight, when all of those things had failed, and Argus still won, death triumphs over life and Argus kills us. Mortals should fall at the hand of death. But
Well, yeah.
what does Aenar the Lifebinder say? Hope is not lost, High Father. The spark of life still flickers within these mortals. Arise, champions. Fight to save your world. And Aenar the Lifebinder breaks the most basic and fundamental rule of the cosmos. Life does not triumph over death, but when all other things had failed, where hope existed, Aenar made room for healing, for something that was not possible. She broke the code, just as she has done with Calia Menethil.
So she's
And
like an
some of
abomination
my
then.
cohorts, if you would like to call them that, in speculation, believe that Calia Menethil will end up being a raid boss, a very important one.
I don't know
and
about
is
that.
The avatar of
Yeah,
life
I think that'd be way
herself.
too much. If she's a raid
Now,
boss,
as we finally get to look upon her form in the game as she would exist.
yeah, that's too much, man.
Her pale skin, her soft white eyes, and her uncanny resemblance to the maidens and even Aenar herself as an alabaster-esque stone woman become very apparent. But even more so, they introduced the anniversary mount, the Deathwing one. So cool, isn't it? The Worldbreaker mount. Very happy
Looks
with
nice.
this one.
Looks amazing. I love it.
But they introduced other mounts, and they are the Alabaster Storm Talon and the Alabaster Thunderwing. And they have alabaster stone-like skin, just like Calia Menethil does.
Okay.
Perhaps that is...
Here's my perhaps. Perhaps that is them creating a new type of skin to cover things in for the game and thinking, hey, we'll just put some storm mounts in the same skin and sell them. Fuck it. It's the same as they have like the fire thing for Raven Lords, and everything has that same model now.
It's merely a coincidence, but I don't tend to agree. This is bad. And it's so fitting because I believe that Aenar the Lifebinder is a usurper goddess. Like
That's kind
Isis,
of a lot, don't you?
So to speak. Commandeering and stealing the
Isis, the Egyptian goddess, I believe. Not the other guys.
power of Ra, the god of light. In the Egyptian mythos, Aenar the Lifebinder is simply life. She is not creation. She is not the conduit from which all is born. She is not the mother of all. As we are referred to children of Azeroth, Aenar insists that we are her children. Aenar the Lifebinder, I believe, is trying to usurp the power of creation from Azeroth and become creation. She's trying to steal a role of a goddess that is not hers to wield. It is not her responsibility, nor is it her power to do so.
Hi.
And just like Calia Menethil, as identified in this very same book before the storm, planned to usurp the Forsaken from Sylvanas, she is recognized directly as a usurper in this book. How fitting is it that the Lifebinder would choose such a character like Calia Menethil, a usurper, dressed in her regal garb, to be her avatar.
That's a lot,
Could
man.
not
That's
be
a
any
lot.
more fitting. And as I have warned and
that is a
cautioned
lot.
you all against for some time,
Hey.
the Titans are coming. The light is coming. Reorigination is coming. And there's only one way out of this, and you can fight it all you want, but it is inevitable. It will come. He will come. And we will find ourselves walking amongst the shadows soon enough,
What the fuck?
whether you believe the leak or not.
What the fuck, dude?
That is all I have for you this evening.
God
We'll talk
damn.
about the other datamine stuff at a later time, like
Holy
the inevitable
shit.
Durotar Warfront and inevitable raid in which we fight Sylvanas.
What
And
the?
also Rathian's back, and his model looks nice. Thank you
Okay.
guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please.
Okay, all right. Let's just talk about this for a minute, then we're going to get the raid together, all right? I want to let you guys know everybody has been waiting to see the mythic raid. We have cleared up to the first boss. We are about to start it. Everybody is here. We'll get our food buffs, and we'll get to work in about probably like 2 minutes here. Calia Menethil being the harbinger of ANR, who is actually going to try to usurp Azeroth or usurp whatever as the complete and ultimate agent of creation. I mean, that's a really big fucking story, and if Blizzard wants to pull that off, wow, that would be crazy. But I feel like the more, it's like sometimes whenever Blizzard does things, there's not like a lot of subtext to them. It's just like, yeah, it is what it is. You know, like they just brought her back. Right? It's like, what is a better explanation? Did they just bring her back to just be like the other, like kind of like the good version of Sylvanas, which is basically what she is. She's like good Sylvanas rather than, you know, bad Sylvanas. I think that's much more the case than some other kind of different shit, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you guys think? Occam's razor? Yeah, the simplest solution is usually the most accurate. Well, I think that's sometimes true, but whenever you're talking about stories and everything like that, it does become a little bit more complex. Now, if they try something like that, as I said, it would be a very, very big risk, and I would love to see them do it. I really, really would.